Hey guys, Coach Jill here, and I'm here to finally talk about, as I have gotten seriously like dozens and dozens of emails, I'm here to finally talk about the new rule, the new pitching rule that just came out. I'm going to talk about what it is, what sanctioning bodies have adopted which rule, and my thoughts on it. It might surprise you. So basically, we've had a new pitching rule come out, and everyone's kind of all up in arms about it in both good and bad ways. Some people are confused, some people like it, others don't. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about what the rule is first. So there is a step back rule and a start back rule. The step back rule has been adopted by USSSA ball, USA softball, and high school softball. The start back rule is being used by PGF and college ball. So let's talk about what those are. So for high school, USSSA and USA softball, they're basically saying that you can now, as a pitcher, have your front foot, your push-off foot, and also your drive-through foot. So your right foot if you're a righty, left foot if you're a lefty, still has to be in contact with the rubber. Okay, so on or just touching the front of the rubber. Your stride foot, however, left foot for righties, right foot for lefties, does no longer has to be touching the rubber, and you can also actually physically step back before you go into your pitch. So you could, in theory, start with that foot anywhere. You could start with it on the rubber, and you could then go into a step back and go into your pitching motion. You could start with it behind and take a further step back. Or I guess you could even start with it in front of the rubber and then take a step back, which would make it kind of similar to my step back drill, which is a power drill that I do with a lot of my girls. For PGF and college, there's a start back rule. So again, we start with that push off foot, still touching the rubber, and the stride foot can start off the rubber, but once it is in contact with the ground, you can no longer move it. So you can't start here and then take another step back. You can't start here and take a step back. You have to start beyond the rubber if you want to, and then it has to remain there until you go into your pitch. The start back rule can also be used in USSSA and high school and USA softball. The step back rule cannot be used in college and PGF. So the argument for this new rule is that it's allowing pitchers to get a better load and become more explosive off the rubber, which is going to give them an advantage over batters because they could potentially be throwing harder. So now comes my opinion on this rule. I don't like it. It's not that, I was a pitcher my whole life, and it's not that I'm not all for giving pitchers, more of an advantage because batters have become so powerful these days. I just don't think this new rule helps very much. I've noticed in recent years that there has been a larger amount of pitchers who are struggling to keep both their feet on the rubber. So I'll see a lot of pitchers, even in college ball, start with both feet on the rubber, and then when they go into their pitch, they move that back foot so it's off the rubber, and a lot of illegal pitches have been called on them. So I can't help but think that this rule may have been created because we can't be bothered to fix incorrect mechanics. But speaking for the load, okay, and getting a better push off the rubber, I see a lot of people doing that start back rule or the step back rule and getting into their loads like this. Like, oh look, I can get into a deeper load. This is not how we're supposed to load. We're not supposed to load onto the back foot. We're supposed to be forward when we push off. And a bigger stance personally, and this could just be me, it could just be because I'm so used to having both my feet on the rubber, but a bigger stance personally makes me feel a little bit more awkward and off balance. And that's not helping my push off the rubber really at all. And the other thing is, obviously, I don't think anyone would recommend having an enormous step backwards and then pushing off. If maybe for some pitchers, this new rule will allow them to add maybe an extra mile an hour or two to their pitch. Batters these days are so attuned to speed. Giving an extra, this might sound like terrible, but adding an extra mile an hour to your pitch is not going to help you. What will help you is spin, movement, changes in speed, changes in planes, and that has nothing to do with how your feet are positioned on the rubber. It has to do with wrist and finger quickness, good mechanics. So I don't really think that, one, this step back rule was necessary, and two, I don't really think it's going to help all that much. Now that is just my opinion. I know there are a lot of people out there who are really, really excited for it. So I'm just going to go over really quickly again what these look like so everyone understands them. So the step back rule, start with the front foot on the rubber. You can then take a step back and go into a pitch. The start back rule basically just says that your stride foot no longer has to be touching the rubber. It can start behind it, but it can't move once it's put on the ground. And then you go into your pitch. I have seen just already a lot of people be like, oh my God, my pitcher's so confused. Like, we're trying to put this new footwork into play. And it's my understanding that while this is a new accepted rule, you don't have to do it. So if your pitcher is still more comfortable with both of her feet on the rubber, continue to do that. You don't have to change it to step back or to start back. So I hope this has given you guys a little bit more of an understanding of the new rule. I would love to hear your opinions on if you're excited about it or hesitant about it now that you know my opinion on it. And I guess we'll see this season if this really makes a difference in pitching or if things stay the same. My hope is that we don't start just allowing things that people can't be bothered to fix, because my next fear is that crow hopping is going to become legal, which, people think that crow hopping adds power and adds velocity to the pitch when in reality it doesn't. It, creates a lot of off timing and off balance and would be the equivalent of trying to hit a home run while hopping on one foot. Probably not going to get a lot of power behind that swing, just like you're not going to get a lot of power behind the pitch by crow hopping. So I just hope that we don't start allowing incorrect mechanics because we can't be bothered to fix them. So again, my opinions on this drill, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for not liking this drill, for not liking this new rule, excuse me, but I would still love to start a discussion with you guys on it, hear your opinions on it, and I'll talk to you next time.